Hello, hello. All right, I'm going to get my volume levels right. So, I hope you're having a great day today. The correct terminology, evidently, is Resurrection Sunday. I do like that a lot better than Easter 2024 because I have learned a lot about the Easter symbolism. Okay, let me just start there for those of you that don't know. Baal is the name of Satan, as well as Lucifer, as well as Mol is the name of Satan, as well as Lucifer, as well as Moloch. And as I haven't had this conversation in a while, but I'll remember other names. The serpent and the devil. So these are the same, these are words meaning the same thing. And someone pointed it out. I think it was Lucius Aurelius, this new channel that I've posted from. I'm like, he's very, he stated SymBAAlism is BAAL. And then I met these people this week in Lake Worth who said they were visiting. No, they live there and they're South African. And they said, you're not going to believe it. The word in Africa, what is it called? I don't think it's called Afrikaans. I forget the language that is spoken in South Africa that is basically like Dutch, which I think like Creole is to that what Haitian Creole is to French, that kind of a thing, I think. Anyway, symbol is like symbol, like it's right there. So anyway, there's a lot of symbolism. And hey, Mikey. How are you? I just watched. I'm not going to chat. I'm going to talk to you. I just watched one of your great podcasts. A couple of them. Man, there's some real assholes out there. All right, and thank you. Look at you with all of these followers you have. That's awesome. It's all going to work out because when you're speaking truth, God protects you, and that's what you're doing. And just keep it real. And I would like to say, I watched your podcast from last week about, you said something like you wanted to get this brand new telescope or camera or something. And I just have a little anecdote about cameras. So I do not believe that we're on a globe. I am a flat earther, but I don't like to be labeled. But I'm a person who does not believe we live on a globe. And I believe that NASA is satanic and that it's a money laundering system, and I worked for the government in a deep state agency, so I know how it works. And I actually had a moment where I was looking at something that NASA was presenting to our agency, and I was like, what does this now I look back, what does this deep state agency have to do with this deep state agency in Colombia? So anyway, I just want to say I think that things are going to be good. Yeah, okay. So here's what I'm going to say about that. All right, so I don't want to wear my glasses. I think my eyes are going to get better without them. That's why. But I'm legally blind, so that's why I have to do this. So my daughters and I were in the car the other day, and it was about a month ago. And it was one of these beautiful days like today. But at 4 p.m, I was driving, and I was heading east. No, I wasn't. I was heading north. Sorry. I was heading south. Because the sun was where does I'm trying to point to right now, which is west. As I was driving, my daughter was beside me, and the moon was to my left. And the moon at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it was huge. And I don't see there's an animal behind me. We're gonna see what that is. Do you hear that? It's probably just a squirrel. Oh yeah, it's a squirrel. I don't know if you can see the squirrel. You probably can't. There's a squirrel. See a squirrel? Oh, he's right there. But Tim, you see him? Hey, Mr. Squirrel. So I was like, okay, girls, that's a big moon, and there's the sun right beside us, and the moon was huge. So I have a Polaroid camera, and I took the camera out of the glove box and have a Polaroid, Polaroid, and I took a picture of the moon, and I let it dry. And my daughter looked at it a couple weeks later and goes, "That moon, it was super tiny. It came out really, really tiny on the camera." So my point is that these filters, this screen right now, everything that has this filter is at some level distorting reality. And I just want you to be aware of that. So even if you buy the most expensive one, it's all fucking bullshit because it's distorting reality. And the best thing that I'm learning, and I'm just saying this with great love, Mikey, is that looking at the sun is good. And we have to start looking at the sky at night, okay? Which takes me on to the main reason that I suddenly felt driven to wear my new shirt and get on and talk. And that is that this documentary I just posted that was from Bloomberg, I was like, oh my gosh, the mainstream media is covering chemicals. Wow, amazing. If you're new to my channel, which is, I'm so grateful anybody's here. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you, anyone that's here. I am currently studying the periodic table of elements and alchemy, and I'm at the moment very focused on magnesium. And in this video that I just posted from Bloomberg about chemicals, I just finished watching it. It became very clear in the end. First, okay. At the end of the video, like first I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. She's talking about it's called polyfluorocarbons, PFAs, something like that. Well, why don't you call it fucking polyfluorocarbons so that people can understand what the fuck fluoride is and what does carbon mean, and let children get into learning about the roots of words. And like the whole video is like, nobody knew. What a surprise. How come the people aren't educated? How come they don't know? How about anybody out here take chemistry in public, junior high or high school? Like, this is the first time that I'm looking at that stupid ass periodic table of elements since I was 14. I'm 52. And it's a bunch of formulas designed for mankind's demise. I came up with that sentence yesterday. That's what that is. That's like the nicest way I can say it. Because the more I learn about it, the more pissed off I am, right? So don't spend your money on cameras, man. Spend your time looking at the sun, getting outside, walking barefoot, grounding. Okay, and if you don't want to look at the sun, I know people like, oh, freak out about it. My mom's like, your retina's going to burn. My eyes have improved. Sun gazing, grounding, it doesn't matter the order. You can't lie. Although I think the not lying thing is the biggest. Just if you don't want to do the rest of it, if you just don't lie anymore in your life is going to improve a lot. Maybe you won't have the same friends, but your life is going to improve. And eating pure salt. This is salt rock. I did a salt rock electricity experiment to prove that it's an electrolyte, because I do believe that our bodies are 99% salt gel with a salinity level of 6 to 7%. But I say that because the 99% number comes from what people call structured water, crystallized water, fourth phase water, exclusion zone water, made popular by a guy named Pollack, Pollack. Look all this up. Very interesting. And I repeat this because I think it's really important, and then I get better at saying it tighter each time. So, and that's why I have the channel. So you're gonna have to hear it. So I believe that the body, and these people believe that the body is made up of what, the best way to explain it, fourth phase water, meaning that water is either a solid, which would be ice, or is a liquid, right? Water, flowing, moving, or is a gas or a vapor like steam, right? Well, fourth phase water refers to the idea that it's jello or gelatin, right? And that makes sense, right? This is a gel-like substance. Very cool. I think that makes a lot of sense. And so what I've learned, and I've been taking a few courses online with really great people, Dr. Tom Cowan, Carolyn Angel of thewholetransformation.com. I also took a course called The Sovereign's Way with Greg Paul. And I'm just like always, all I do is look for opportunities to learn. So I'm going to take a minute and read these lovely comments, Mikey, because I think you're the man that's here, and I don't mean to be like boring you with shit. Good. Sun is great. I have nerve damage on my feet. Don't feel it. Okay, awesome. So if you have nerve damage, that's okay, because that means you're not going to bitch like everybody else about walking barefoot. Look, I've been living in cities since I was 17. And when I learned about grounding it was 2021, and I had this yard, I said, I'm going to do it. And yes, the first time that I walked on it, I was like, and it hurt. And then the next day, it didn't hurt as much. And the third day, it didn't hurt at all. And then I noticed something really interesting, how when you're walking, you start unconsciously, if you let it flow, your eyes like learn where to walk, which totally makes sense. If there's anything that we're going to instinctually get, probably it's how to walk barefoot, because that's probably how we're supposed to be, just like the animals. So the 4 steps are grounding, sun gazing, getting pure salt into your diet. That means no iodine, no process, pure salt. I believe from my research, please comment if you know something more than me. Himalaya salt is Pakistani salt, by the way, Mikey. And when I learned how to do this, and maybe Mikey can help me, I can share some pictures that I gave a presentation at my children's Montessori school with children from 3 years old to 12 years old. And I really focused the presentation on what I now identify as my favorite age group to teach. And that is, okay, I love 3 and 4-year-olds, but I also love 11 and 12-year-old boys. But I love all children, so that's like stupid to say. But once you've spent some time with kids and enjoyed bantering with them, and anybody who is a parent here, and sees how they reason. And I have 2 little girls, but I purposely invite people over all the time because I love hanging out with children. You find that they come to, logic very quickly. And so you've got to be on your toes, and it's fantastic. And they don't like bullshit. But if they're surrounded by it, like if they have parents who lie all the time, meaning like they say something to their spouse, and then the child is beside them or is observing everything or is listening, but the parents don't think they are, and then he or she grumbles under the breath, The child sees that. So that's like subtlety of the serpent. That's duplicity. God doesn't want that, and we shouldn't lie. And anytime that we're not, I believe, loving truth, which I believe is the first commandment that Jesus, Yeshua, shared with us. And the second one is loving your neighbors like you love yourself. So once you determine that those are the focuses in your life, then you can stay really local, or like I'm doing now with this channel, create another channel of conversation, friendship, but never make this supersede the real life of my neighbor. I look over there because there's a car parked here, and I'm talking. I hate that I'm talking to myself on a screen, but whatever. Anyway, very nice people. My mother's behind me. I love my neighbors, and I want to continue to keep them held up in the light, because that's these are the most important people, or who we are around. So the 4 steps to longevity, and I believe combating this magnetic, metallizing world, to mitigate or absolutely combat it. My 4 step, which can be modified, I will modify it as life goes on. I'm not monetizing this. I'm not trying to make money from you. Is eating pure salt, not processed. I'm not saying you got to eat more than you already do, but just try to replace whatever you're eating that is so-called salty with actual salt. And salt is from mines, like salt mines. Mineral comes from the word mines, right? Caves, salt, caves. Comes from the ocean. I have seen the evaporation of salt on a beach in northern Colombia, Atlantic coast, called the region is called La Guajira, and the main town is Macau, and the tribe is called the Wayu. Salt Lake City, there's a reason why the Mormons settled in Salt Lake City, don't you think? And there's so many things about salt that are amazing that I've talked about in the other videos you can look at, and I'll just keep talking about them because I always talk to people about this and I learn even more. Some really cool stuff, and I wrote it down. I'm going to take my book out next time and talk about some really great recommendations I got in conversations this week. Okay, so, and not lying. So, sun gazing, consuming, eating pure salt, drinking. I've been drinking salt water. And people have been like, wow, you look great. Your complexion's really good. I recognize that things aren't just one thing, but I did something very dramatic in the last 7 days, and that has been, I have consumed salt water in like pint levels about 3 to 4 days of the last week. And the majority of it was from the Atlantic Ocean, which was very cool. And it was just perfect. It just seems right. It just seems to make sense, right? All right. Hey. Who do we have here? See Lightning 300. I'm interested in lightning. Where are you? And where are you, Mikey? So I'm learning all this stuff. Sorry for the slowness. Oh, Canada, cool. So many great thought leaders in Canada. So many great. I'm a big fan of Amanda Vollmer, and I met her in person. Do you know who Amanda Vollmer is? Dr. Amanda Vollmer? She's a flat earther, and she's She's brilliant. And the way she explains things, I posted a couple of her videos. Oh, just north of Montana. Okay, I will look. I will look at one of my maps, right? Because I should know that. But interesting. So I'm in beautiful March here. Is it freezing there right now, or is it nice? Because sometimes people exaggerate. Well, let me know. I'm happy that you're here. So so back to the documentary. All right. It's getting nice. Good. It's spring, right? It's spring. Little snow. Cool. It's just so beautiful to observe nature. I lived in New York for 10 years, so I have been through the four seasons. And I've been living in Colombia, in Bogota, Colombia, which a lot of people don't know is about 55 degrees year round. Like it's not hot tropical like most people automatically perceive because of the marketing of Colombia. Like, did you guys, I don't know if you guys remember that movie with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, and it was called Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That movie was supposedly about Bogota, and I didn't see the movie. I don't go to movies, but someone told me, they're like, oh, they show roosters and a guy in a Hawaiian shirt like he was out in the Cartagena beach. And I was like, really? It was like 2008 or 9. I'm like, nobody can go on the internet and look at what the average temperature of Bogota is, or at least look at the weather or look at pictures before making a multi-million-dollar picture movie about that region of the world and falsifying it. How's that, right? It's bullshit. Okay, I'm going to read this. Whoa. All right. I'm so interested in this lightning thing, but right now my children just got home, so I got to go. Thank you so much for joining me. And I am not joking, sea lightning 300 miles. I would love to see those videos because I live in the lightning capital of the world. This part of Central Florida is what they say. So let's talk about lightning one of these days. Hey, let's do a talk. Let's figure out the technology and talk about it. That's so cool. Are you nearby? Where are you seeing the lightning? I'm going to talk until they come in the house. With your eyes. I love that. In your camera phone. I have videotaped lightning bolts. Pass it on. Let me post it. You guys, thanks so much.